And that's interesting, too, because if you do put him in those spots and you know he's not ready, it's going to reflect on you, too, not only on him, but also on you.
It's embarrassing. So why, even though, and I take this the same way as I said at the beginning, you're going to work your way up. I don't care if you're Brian Hebner, if you're Brian whoever, if you're Brian Hogan, that's not the answer. The answer is, let me see how you do, and then we'll go from there. Because there's other guys there at the time was better than Brian. So why should Brian go up in front of them when Brian needs to climb the same ladder that we all climbed? And that's, I feel about that about everybody. Even if I had a good friend that came in as a referee, I do the same thing. But stuffing him in down somebody's throat at the beginning because his last name's Hebner, it doesn't make it. It's more embarrassing and down than it is up. So when he worked up, and now that he's on top, and the way he learns, any of these guys right now always want him, trust him. They know where he'll be, and because he worked his way up, he earned his way where he's at, and that's for everybody. You know, truthfully, when I went to work for Jim Crockett years ago, I thought Tommy Young was the greatest referee in the world.
I was going to ask you about who you thought, and am I wrong? Tommy blew his knee out. Was that what happened, or no?
Well,
or no? Or did he get injured?
Yeah.
Tommy, right? Tommy got it because I was going to ask you about Tommy Young because I thought he was one of the. But go ahead, finish.
But when I was working with Tommy at the time, I mean, I would watch him, and truthfully, when I when I got in the business, I was green as grass. I didn't know anything. And Tommy helped me, and I watched him, and I went, oh, God, if I could just be him one of these days, you know. And unfortunately, he got hurt. I think he broke his neck. Tommy.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Against the ropes in there, and whatever. But Tommy was a great ref. You know, at the time, I thought he was the best there ever was, you know. And
I don't think many people can argue that. I remember watching Tommy. Oh my God, it was just incredible.
So I learned from the best, and it was another lucky break for Earl Hebner, you know. So and that's the way it's always been. So then it was there, then it was WWF, WWE, now here. So it's you know, I've paid my dues. Believe me, nothing is given to anybody. You work for it, and I have worked for it, and he's worked for it, and he's still working.
I was going to ask you a little bit off subject, but was it ever hard? Did they ever try to tease you, your dad and your uncle, as far as who was who, or you always knew your dad and uncle who they were? Hey, let's tease the little guy. Even when you were younger, or never like that, or no?
As far as me, I never got them confused. I did when they've had their backs turned to me before and have gone the wrong one. But as soon as he turned around, I went, "Oh, never mind. Sorry, David." I went to my dad. No, a lot of people did get them confused. Yes, and they've got some stories that probably can't be on this thing. As far as playing ha-ha with people, but
yes.
But no, they never confused me. They never tried to. I don't think, because I think
they knew you knew. Or
when it's your dad can have a lookalike, but it's not your dad. There's certain moves, there's gestures. You know what I mean?
And you know what? When you ask that story, I will say this: when I think it was NBC Saturday Night Live, we confused the world.
That's true. That's true. The switch.
You know, I will say that. We confused the world.
Oh, that's great. All right. Is there anything else that you guys could say about... Kaz spoke a little bit about it. Just, you know, you don't have to have the wrestlers or the knockouts come over there and say, hey, great job. You just know you did a good job, and when you didn't do a good job, is it easier for you to tell because you've been in it so long, or now you've been doing it, you could tell when you've done a good job when you have it?
I know when I've done a good job, and I know when the boys have done a good job, and the girls. The one thing I do want to say before we close this out is that this is truly, 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 and I'm not just saying this because I need a raise or anything like that, this is the best group of people to work for that I've ever been around in my life. Our locker room is the most talented, the most caring, the most friendly, and a group of unity that people... you're not going to find in any locker room in any other sport. I don't care what anybody says, bar none. To answer about the good job thing, our boys, us, we all pat each other on the back every time. And even if they had a horrible match, and I've been a part of some horrible matches, we'll find the positives and we'll make that person go on to the next day or the next night to make it better. But there's no shortage of pats on the back here as far as this locker room goes, our referee department goes. It's just overwhelming, but yes, we do know we have a good match, and yes, we know when we do good as far as the way we did our match. But even if it wasn't great, they're going to still pat us on the back because we're a family, and it's the best locker room in the world. It really is.
They know you guys care.
They know we care. They know we care more than half the people that are actually. They just know the passion that both of us have for this business. And I proudly do say that I have the most pride at all when it comes to making something right or having it done right. And sometimes I'm sure I'm irritating to the guys because I go, all right, let me run this by you again, and they've already told me 5 times, 6 times. It doesn't matter. I want to make sure that it's in my mind before I get out there that it's got to be this way. And it's. You can't do that with some people. Some people are impatient, or some people just think they're better than that. They don't need to tell you 5 times. And they probably don't, but I'll take it. I will take it and I'll ask because that's how cool everybody is here.
And Earl, you know, and they know. Everybody, they all know. So it's not even. I don't think it's even appropriate maybe to ask that to you.
No, you can ask
after all the years and all. But you know what I'd like to ask you though too. If you want to answer that, you can. But I was just curious too. You've worked so many matches and done so much. Are there times that you look back and just go, "Wow, man, I just can't believe I've done so many matches and done all that and all."
Yes, and like when I was at WWF, they sold the big books with everybody in them. Looked like a
encyclopedia.
Yeah, the rest
I know
of
what you're talking about.
Okay.
Sure.
They still bring those up today, and a lot of them I never have signed, but they still bring them by. And when I'm there, I do sign them, and that's rewarding to me that they you know what, I'm in a hard position here sometimes, and I get put in these positions, but they hate me, but they love me, and that's what I'm all about. Brian's a little more of a babyface than I am, because I'm a heel.
I see what you're saying.
But I am a babyface too, But what was going back to when you said, when you have a good match and you have a bad match, and here's the thing. I've always lived with this. When you're live and it's a pay-per-view, okay, if something gets messed up, screwed up, you come out and you're down a little bit. But I tell these guys, don't beat yourself up. It's not doing you no good. It's live. It's over. It's done. There's not a damn thing that any of the 3 of us can do anything about. The only thing we can do is next time we go back and have a pay-per-view, get it right. I've beaten myself to death before too, because of stupid things or things didn't work out like right. But then when you walk away from that ring and you're in the back, you go, this is not a tape show, so you can't edit it. It is what it is.